Good morning. Today on Spotlight, how two century-old organizations, one legal and one academic, have teamed up together to take entrepreneurship acceleration in this region to the next level. Attorney Paul M. Mercino, President and CEO of Butzel, and Dr. Daniel Sim, Executive Director of the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, as well as President of Walsh Ventures. They'll give us the details. And later on our Sunday morning program, attorney Alburn H. Elvin Jr., convention chair, will tell us why the upcoming Midwestern Regional Convention of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity is a big deal for Detroit. It's Sunday, March the 16th. I'm Chuck Stokes, and this is Spotlight. Dr. Sim and Attorney Mercino, good seeing you today on Spotlight. You doing well?
Yes, thank you for having us.
Good having you. I'm going to start with you, Dr. Sim. You wear two hats, one with the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and then also with Walsh Ventures.
Right.
What's the difference between the two, and what's the relationship between the two?
Yeah, no, happy to share. And they're both relatively new, started last year. So the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, a center within Walsh College, focused on teaching, fostering innovation, entrepreneurship, especially for our students. So we have workshops and boot camps and networking events and pitch competitions, which are going to be a lot more exciting now with our partnership with Butzel. But so that is a center that's largely internal to Walsh, although serving the community. You could view it as kind of an incubator, accelerator for startups and innovation.
Okay.
And then Walsh Ventures is very much focused on funding the startups that are coming from our students and alumni, but also from the broader community. And so we're putting together an angel investor group that will invest in startups that could be coming from all over Detroit and Southeast Michigan.
In the angel investor group, you're going to be making a pitch in April, I think, at the DAC?
Yeah. April 22nd at the DAC. It's our very first one with Walsh Ventures.
And this is a natural flow for Walsh College, which is a business college that is training young men and women to go into the world of business.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's what we're all about, applied learning for, I think, going on over 102 years now, when we were founded by Mervyn Walsh,
right,
who was the accountant for Thomas Edison at Thomas Edison Lake Company. So I like to say that we've been helping innovators for over 100 years and since Thomas Edison. So.
CEO Mercino, you've been on this program before. Your organization is just a tad older than his. I think you were started at 171
That's right.
years now. But it's a bunch of attorneys.
Right.
How did you get hooked up with him, and what's the relationship in
So I'm good friends with the president of Walsh College, Dr. Susie Siegel, and we worked together on various things. And when this came about, it was a natural thing for Butzel to get involved in. You know, we're known sometimes for working with these mega corporations, Fortune 100 companies, private equity firms. But we also love working with startups. We love working with small companies. We love working with small companies and helping them become big companies. So we saw an opportunity here to sponsor this and to get involved. We're sponsoring in a monetary fashion. We're also going to be providing legal services to the startups so that these young companies who are working on a shoestring budget can get some of the same legal services that the big companies are getting, and try to help them start their new idea and bring it into becoming a full-fledged company.
Sure. Either one can answer this. Who are these startups, and have they already been picked? And give us a sort of a look into what kind of businesses we're talking about.
Sure, yeah. And I've been doing this kind of thing for a while, and they tend to be tech startups. And what we're going to focus on with this initiative for the community are tech startups. I think for our students and alums, there will be any kind of Main Street business. But for the event on April 22nd with Walsh Ventures, we're looking at two kind of verticals. One is health tech, so therapeutics, devices, diagnostics, software, clinical services, and then the other vertical is deep tech, and so that would be software like AI, augmented reality, virtual reality, data science, and cybersecurity. So we have two companies picked for pitching on April 22nd, but I can't say who they are yet.
Okay, that's all right. We'll keep it secret for a little bit.
One is a digital health company, and then the other is an at-home diagnostic
test. But we did actually fund in an early kind of iteration before the official launch of Walsh Ventures, a company last fall that is ed tech company that uses artificial intelligence and augmented reality in education. So it's called CSI Sim. And they were funded through an angel group, early angel group that we have at $200,000. And importantly, the intellectual property, the patent work was done by a Butzel law firm. So that's, Walsh has had a long relationship with Butzel, but I first met Paul and Butzel as part of doing that patent work, and they just did an incredible job, and they're going to be doing that more and more with the tech companies we help in the future.
So Paul, you're a financial contributor to this, but also an intellectual contributor. Would that be fair to say that? Because, and what kind of skills are you going to be giving them or sharing with them?
So eventually what we'll be setting up is we'll be having monthly, essentially attorneys in residence hours for these startups where they can call on us, they have questions, they have specific needs. As Dr. Sem said, our intellectual property group will be heavily involved, whether it's patent rights, trademark rights, copyright work. And then anything beyond that, might be corporate work, might be whatever they need, we'll provide those, that legal advice to help them kind of get to that next step.
Yeah, and that's a big thing, because if somebody weren't contributing that or pro bono or doing it at a reduced rate, something like that when you're trying to start up could sink you right into the ground, right?
Oh yeah, it's certainly hundreds and usually thousands of dollars, and sometimes you don't know how to, if you're an entrepreneur, you don't know how to navigate that world. So forming the company, you know, corporate law, and then you bring money in, securities law, otherwise you get in trouble with the SEC.
We don't want that. That's why they're there.
That's right.
Keep you out of trouble.
And the hard thing to find, really, in my experience, is help with the patents and the trademark and that sort of thing. So those kind of pro bono legal services are much harder to come by. That's why we're so excited to have the partnership with Butzel.
Very good. All right, let me take a little pause for the cause. We'll come right back and talk about how this might be the runway to the future. We'll be right back. Don't go away. And welcome back to Spotlight. Attorney Mercino, how do you see this impacting the region as a whole?
I think initiatives like this can have a huge impact beyond just the startups that are involved or the angel investors involved or Walsh or Butzel. I view this as helping the entire Metro Detroit startup ecosystem and economy. And hopefully these young companies become large companies. Obviously Detroit has been such a big part of industry and innovation going back to the auto industry.
It's our bread and butter.
Yeah, through to today. So to be able to help essentially bring the next generation of Walshes or Edisons or Fords to help them get their start, that's what we want to see.
Yeah. Dr. Sim, is this kind of the runway to the future, especially when we look at what's happening in Washington in terms of, you know, changes, cuts, funding that people have been used to may not be there in the future, and you, in terms of relationship with public-private partnership, is this kind of a roadmap to where business world may be headed?
I think so. I mean, obviously there's a lot of disruption in Washington right now, and disruption is uncomfortable. But whenever there is any disruption in the world, that's an opportunity for entrepreneurs and innovators to do something positive.
That's the flip side of it.
Yeah.
It can be agonizing for people affected directly and indirectly, but there may be some opportunities that come out of it. Kind of like the pandemic, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
You
it
don't
was
want the
horrible, but there were some good things that came out of it.
And with Michigan Central and New Lab, and we've had Tech Town in Detroit, these are kind of incubators and catalysts for innovations and new companies, but you need to help them get to the point where they're ready for venture capital. And Michigan does a pretty good job in venture capital relative to its neighbors, but we could certainly do better, and nothing compared to the coast. And so the goal is to help our tech companies coming from a rich background, oftentimes in manufacturing, to maybe high-tech manufacturing, which is a focus I know for New Lab, and get to the point where they can actually get that venture capital and build companies that go out and have a big impact in the world, positive impact, providing things people need, but also lifting up the community in terms of economic development. So.
Sure. Mr. Mercino, what do you see as the biggest challenge in trying to make this type of merger work from two very old, very traditional companies?
I don't see many challenges out of it, frankly. Now, there will be challenges for the startups, of course, and that's one of the things we're there to help them smooth out some of those bumps in the road. As far as Butzel and Walsh working together, I think we are pointed in the same direction. We have the same goals. And frankly, it's to help others. It's to help the entire area, to help these startups. So I think it's going to be a really good relationship.
Yeah. David Provost, who has merged many banks throughout his career and very involved with the Community Foundation for Southeast Michigan, is going to be speaking, I think, at the Angel presentation that you're doing. What do you anticipate he's going to say, and why is it important to have him as a part of that?
Well, I hope he gives some good words of advice, because he's been very successful both professionally and also giving back to the community. So to be able to fuse those two skills of his, I think will be great advice for the young companies, for the angel investors that are going to be there, as well as for Butzel and for Walsh.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. And David was so kind. He offered us the chance to use his suite for our first Angel Pitch event. And it's kind of funny, when he was showing it to me, he said, "Hey, I bought some banks in this room." And that's what I was thinking. Why would he talk about it?
I'm sure he had, too.
I think it would be great if he talked about the banks that he bought in that room, and how he built his entrepreneurial career, which, is broadly speaking in the area of fintech. And I think that's another exciting area for growth in the region.
What are you hearing from the students that you have, both at Walsh College as well as in the Ventures program and maybe at the center? What are they saying to you that we want, why we're here?
Yeah, and they're excited about applied business learning, and that's kind of a long history of Walsh, is we have people that are not wanting sort of an ivory tower education, but from practitioners out in the world that are doing things. And so a lot of our students are actually business professionals going back to school as well. And so what they want is they want applied learning, learning from people that have done it before, but also they would like to be involved in doing it. It's so that now they'll have a chance to be involved in either themselves starting companies or working alongside and helping some of the startups that we're helping. So we'll have like a venture fellow program for that kind of thing. And both in business, Walsh has a school of business, obviously, which we've had for over 100 years, but we also have School of Technology, so AI, ML, data science. And those students as well have a real entrepreneurial spirit and don't want to just learn from a textbook. They want to be out there doing it, and that's what the center will allow.
Yeah. I'll give you a quick final thing. With all that's going on in Washington, is your firm busier than they were in January?
Our phones have been ringing a lot lately, especially our international trade team with tariffs and customs and everything else. That's been keeping us very busy. And just anytime there's uncertainty, businesses want some more advice. So I don't wish it upon them, but we are certainly here for those clients, big and small, when they need that help.
All right. Paul Mercino, Sam Sim, thank you so much for joining us today on Spotlight. Best of luck with this, and we'll have to get you back and tell us how it's going 6 months, a year from now, whatever makes sense.
We'd love to be here.
All right.
Thanks, Chuck.
And when we come back, the Alphas are coming. Albert H. Elvin, Esquire, will tell us what that means. We'll be right back. Attorney Elvin, thanks for joining us today on Spotlight. You doing okay? It's been a little while since I've seen you.
I'm doing great. It is good. Glad to be back here again. It's been a while.
Good having you. Not your first time to our studio or on this set.
Yep.
Word on the street is that the men of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity are headed to Detroit. True or false?
True, absolutely true. And we are ecstatic to be here. We've got 1,500 brothers coming from around 12 states and Canada to be a part of this convention here next week coming up. And we have a great theme. Theme is strengthening bonds and shaping leaders, the brotherhood impact. So looking forward to it.
Good. This is a Midwest regional convention, not national. Correct. But it's a lot of folks coming in.
Absolutely. It's the Midwestern Regional Convention, so it's not our general convention. But nonetheless, we still have a good number of brothers coming into town, looking forward to a great convention with a lot of business and personal and professional development, as well as opportunities to have a little fun in the city.
For people who may not be a part of a fraternity or sorority, particularly a Black Greek letter organization, Help them understand why this is important to this city, both economically, but also in terms of the image and the impact that these people are coming from all over this region.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, it's been quite a while since we've been in the city of Detroit. We haven't been, this regional convention hasn't been in the city of Detroit now for quite a while, since the last time was the last time was 2006 in Dearborn, and before that 1996 in Detroit.
That has quite a bit of time, yeah.
And the last time we were here, the conventions were about 700 people. Now it's 1,500. So we've grown in number. We're going to grow in economic impact. We estimate that the city we will generate for the city anywhere between $1.5 and $3 million for the weekend. And I think that's great to have. That's great to have our city host an event like this one.
Sure.
We haven't been here in a while, and we're excited about being here. Now, on the other side,
they're going to see a slightly different Detroit than when they were here last time around.
Absolutely different, right? The city has changed tremendously, and we're looking forward to having them experience that. And then on the other side of things, our mission statement is Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated develops leaders, promotes brotherhood and academic excellence while providing service and advocacy for our communities. And we are looking forward to the service piece. We have a couple days of great service planned while we're here in Detroit.
Break down some of the different things that the community will be able to see that this fraternity is doing when all of those men come into town.
Well, let's start with Wednesday, okay? So on Wednesday, we will, in partnership with National Reading Month, we will be at Emerson and Dawson schools in Detroit. We are donating 2 reading benches to those 2 schools. We're also, so that you can sit outside and read, and it's beautiful.
Sure.
And
make it nice for the kids.
Absolutely, right? And then on top of that, we're also donating 100 books per school, brand new books, many written by African-American authors to those 2 schools, as well as we're going to spend some time reading to the children in those schools as well, so they can see some of the gentlemen in their suits doing the reading.
As role models.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you've got a blood drive that's going to be part of all this as well?
Absolutely, and that's in partnership with the Red Cross. But the blood drive is for sickle cell awareness, right? And so that's what we're focused on. We're looking to get 70 people involved in that. I think we got close to 50 now. Okay. So 50 people who are willing to donate blood. I understand we've got Amazon gift cards for all the donors. So we are looking forward to that, and that will take place Friday in partnership with some of our other organizations that focus on health. We will be at the Renaissance Center in Detroit. So that will be on Friday as a part of our overall health fair.
It's going to be a busy, busy weekend.
Busy.
How long have you been preparing for this as convention chair?
Well, I'd like to tell you it was a year, but we probably started a little longer than that in hopes that we would get the convention. And so when we got it was announced, we knew a little bit in advance of that. We've been preparing for over a year now.
Very good. All right, we need to take a quick little break. We'll come back and we'll pick up on this conversation.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
We'll be right back. Stay with us. The convention chair of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, Midwest Region. Convention coming into this town in just a few days here. Some other things, you've got a career fair?
We do. We have currently 14 employers who will be on site conducting interviews and give people an opportunity to make connections and to see where their career is headed. As you know, right now we're in kind of tough times. The economy is not doing what we would hope it would be doing. And people have lost some jobs. So we have an opportunity for them to connect with some of the local employers to see if there's opportunities to make a match there.
Right. There's also a thing that you're going to be doing, I know there's panel discussion of racial inequity as it relates to healthcare in particular.
Well, we call it Racism is a Public Health Crisis. That will take place on Thursday, March 20th at 5 o'clock. And that will be at Detroit Marriott as well. And we're looking forward to that. We have some great panelists. I think it's going to be a great opportunity to engage in conversation and to start figuring out how we address some of these issues that obviously racism has affected.
Sure. And this is also, we should probably point out for people who don't realize it, that although this is going to be an Alpha Phi Alpha event, and of course Alpha Phi Alpha was the first men's Black Greek letter organization founded in this country, and of course there are others, but they were the first, in which they always brag about.
The oldest and the coldest, man.
which is fine. I went a different way, but people don't, and I point that out because people don't realize that although there's friendly competition, that they're all part of what we call the D9, the Divine Nine, which makes up all of the Black Greek fraternity and sorority organizations, and that there's kinship between them, and when one does well, they all do well, and they're all very supportive, and so other fraternities and sororities are as happy to see the alphas coming as if it were their own fraternity or sorority.
Totally agree. Whenever any one of us hosts a convention here in Detroit, we all come out and support. We've had our share of supporting our brothers and sisters in Greekdom over the years. Here we are back now, almost 20 years later, hosting our regional convention, and we're looking for their support as well. We would love for them to come out. We do have a public program on Thursday, March 20th, immediately following the Racism is a Public Health Crisis event. Right after that, in the same room, 6 o'clock. So looking forward to seeing all of our Black Greek letter organization comrades in their gear.
Right.
So yes, absolutely.
That's it. Well, we're wishing you great luck and success bringing the convention here. We're glad that it's coming to Detroit. We know that it's going to be successful just because of the people that are involved in it, and you guys always do a great job. And update us later on how it all went.
Absolutely, looking forward to it. And thank you.
Is there a website that people should go to if they want to get more information?
Yes, currently if they want more information on some of the events I just talked about, the public facing events, they can go to www.detroitalphas.org and they will find some of that information there. It'll direct them exactly where to go for these events that we just talked about.
Perfect. Okay. Attorney Elvin, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure talking to you.
Appreciate it. Same here.
All right. And I'm Chuck Stokes. We'll be back next week with more newsmakers in the spotlight. We hope you have a great week.